All right, so Mark, we've been thinking for a little while this year about how we grow as disciples, because that's the whole ball game, following Jesus wherever Jesus leads, becoming like him in our attitudes, our mind, in our actions, and forming a community of people who are shaped by faith, hope, and love as we follow him. Now, I'm going to show you a word in a moment. That word is in many ways the key to growing as a disciple. It is the key to life with God. It is the key as saints who've gone ahead of us for hundreds, couple of thousands of years have discovered this is the key, but it is also a word which will provoke other reactions within you. So get ready to listen to your body, to your mind, to your emotions as I unveil this word, because this word is where we're going to camp out for a little while, and this topic, this subject, this thing is going to be what we're going to help each other grow in. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh no! Don't worry, go with me on this. It's going to be okay. Our response to prayer, the things that we know about prayer, I know are going to be varied and vast in their scope and will probably encompass several conflicting things which are still both true. It will be true for many of us that we have tried prayer and we have found it to be beautiful and profound and a source of strength and peace and closeness to the divine. We will have spent time in prayer. Maybe it was recently, maybe it was years ago. It probably will definitely have been when you first kind of became aware of Christ. You might have spent time in prayer and it was good for your levels of peace and anxiety. Maybe you've experienced miracles and unexplained coincidences around the things that you were praying for, and you saw things which can be explained in no other way except that it felt like God answered prayers and crazy things happened. And maybe you've been in moments where you've been caught up and lost in wonder, and you've been amazed at the face and the hand of God, and you felt like you were in the same room as something, someone, some mighty, incredible being, and you've had levels of faith which, just skyrocketed into orbit because you think, yes, maybe you've had those experiences of prayer. Maybe also true for others of us, or the same ones of us, is that prayer is awkward and frustrating and a bit dull, and maybe you've sat in prayer meetings and you maybe you've been sat in a circle and somebody over there prays and then the person next to them prays and then the person next to them prays, and you're panicking as it seems to be creeping around the circle, coming closer to you, and you're desperately thinking, I've got to think of something to say. Maybe you struggle in prayer meetings. Maybe you don't even need to go to a prayer meeting to struggle. Maybe you find it difficult to pray at home on your own. You feel like a right plonker for saying stuff out loud or in your head. Either way is weird because there's nobody else there listening and you think, there's anybody there? Maybe you have got a weight on your shoulders, a burden, because you feel some kind of sense that you should be good at prayer because you call yourself a Christian, deep down, not in public, but you call yourself a Christian, you call yourself a Jesus follower, and you want to be good at prayer, you believe you should be good at prayer, you've been told you must be better at prayer, you feel like you ought to be, but you're not, and you don't feel able to. And then at the far other end of the continuum, whenever we talk about prayer, there will be some of us who experience and carry the weight of extreme pain and frustration and hurt and grief and doubt and disappointment and disillusionment, because maybe in the moment of wonder and being full of faith and feeling close to Jesus, we prayed and we trusted him with the secrets of our hearts, the desires that we carry. Maybe we prayed for a loved one to get well. Maybe we prayed for a situation and a person for ourselves or for others that just seemed like a gimme. And you can't understand why God didn't pull through on that one. He seems to give somebody else car parking spaces all the time. But the thing that you really need him to do for that person that you really love, that surely he could. He never has. And you're left with pain, and actually just clinging on to faith in the midst of that is as much as you've been able to do, and on some days not even that. And prayer, it's not even close to being something that's contributed to your faith. If anything, it's destroyed your faith on times, and you can't begin to imagine what it would be like to get up to the other end of the continuum ever again. Gang, when we talk about prayer, every single time we mention it, All of these things are true in the room. There is not a person who's lived a life that has had fulfillment and meaning in their faith who hasn't gone ahead of us in all of these things, who's experienced the boredom of prayer, who's experienced the wonder of prayer, who's experienced the pain and the darkness of prayer. But the people that are ahead of me, who seem to be wise and peaceful, who seem to be most like Christ, they have persisted in prayer. They have grown in prayer. They haven't run away from prayer. They have embraced all the wonder, the pain, and the just boredom and weirdness of it. They've embraced all of it. And so as we try and grow as disciples, I think this is one thing that I want to grow in, because it is the key to unlocking a personal relationship with the divine. It is the key to unlocking this, not just a book club, but a living, breathing, working, listening, talking trust between us and Jesus. And so this term we're going to grow together, because remember, it's not an individual sport, it's a team sport. We're going to grow together in prayer, and this is how we're going to do it. I'd love you to grab hold of a copy of this book. It's called, check's title, Praying Like Monks, Living Like Fools. Subtitle, An Invitation to the Wonder and Mystery of Prayer. It's by a guy called Tyler Staton. There's links below this or on the website as to where you can buy it. Buy it in book, buy it on Kindle, buy it on audiobook if that's your vibe. Grab a copy. If you can't afford a copy or don't want to waste your own money on a copy because you don't know if my book recommendations are anything to base your life on, then let me know and I'll buy you a copy. I'm going to have a few copies knocking around. The idea is this. This book, written by a pastor in Portland, is full of faith and doubt and honesty and help. And it's brilliant. The chapters are pretty short. You'll be able to read them in 10, 15, 20 minutes. And each week we're going to read a chapter during the week on our own. And then each Sunday we're going to come round and sit in circles around tables if we can together. And we're going to dissect it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to bring our feelings and we're going to try the things that are suggested in the book, and we're going to feed back on some of those things, and we're going to see if we can grow in an understanding of prayer that's for other people, an understanding that's prayer for ourselves, an understanding of prayer that uses lots of words, an understanding of prayer that uses no words, an understanding of the pain of prayer. And we're going to hold each other as we do it and create space for the miracles and for the disillusionment and the grief, because it's all part of it. One of the brilliant things about the book is it's profound, but yet it's deeply accessible and won't challenge any of us as we read it. Well, another brilliant thing about the book is, though he's a pastor now, leading a church and writing books and stuff, Tyler talks a lot about how his journey with prayer started in secondary school, or whatever it's called in America, and how as a teenager he began to experience prayer. And that's really important for us as we lead our teens through it. And so our secondary schoolers, they're going to be able to track with this and read through it. We won't ask the kids to read through it. We'll do some other stuff with the kids. So grab a copy of the book. Each Sunday we'll go through it, and you'll be able to read what chapter's coming up. There's 10 or 11 chapters, something like that. That will take us through the next couple of months. For those of us that want to go deeper, then we're going to have a book club that meets every couple of weeks and talks through 2 or 3 chapters at a time, and has an hour and a half, 2 hours together to do that, and to ask questions and to probe and to bring our difficulties and to pray for one another. And there'll be one that I organise centrally, but if there's others that want to spin off because you can't make that one, or you don't want to talk to me about it, then feel free to organise that. But this is what we're going to base the next little period of our journey on. Bringing all of our hopes and fears, our expectations and desires, all of our joy and all of our pain, bringing them to Jesus and asking the gang around us, the village in which we exist, to encourage us on the journey whilst we try and encourage them. We're going to pick up each other's prayer needs. We're going to grow in love for the people around us. We're going to weep as we discover pain and we wrestle with some hurts. We're going to dance together as we see some, I think, and hope and pray some beautiful things. So there's more links on the webpage. I've put the dates on there that we're discussing each chapter. I've put where you can get the book. I've put some other links for some stuff around prayer. And I hope and I think and I pray that as we do this together, it's going to be a fantastic, painful at times, but fantastic season of growth for us as we discover more about the wonder of prayer, because it's not an act that is important. It's with a person who is full of joy. Grab a copy of the book. Looking forward to doing it. We're going to kick off at the end of February.